Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Today, I kind of wanted to just talk about the concept of feeling like we need to treat everyone with the same respect that we want and kind of treat it like a huge, big family, you know? Like, I feel like I've been thinking about this a lot where a lot of the time I feel like people are just, they go in their own place in their own communities and their own, and they feel like they kind of are quickly to judge people. And I feel like the more I've seen like family members or people that I've been with experience great pain and knowing their backstory and knowing what other people are treating them like is kind of like I wish, others would see what is going like truly going on behind that, right? And if you treated like, a person that was going through a bad time out on the street or something, or if, they had like a bad attitude towards you, if you treated them like, well, this is my family member, I'm just gonna let this like I want to figure out what they're going through and, truly know what's behind those thoughts, right? Not just kind of like outcast them from society, outcast them from the place, or be like, oh, I hate this person, or like gossip, for example. Drama at a workplace is such a unhealthy dynamic. I feel like we truly forget that like people, even though you see one side of the story, you cannot judge someone on one side or one aspect of someone, right? What, like, our attitudes are so much different when we're at work, when we're with our friends, when we're with our family, right? So judging someone when they're at work only and purely what they're doing at work is so like ignorant. I feel like you're lacking so much information that you could not be knowing. That's the truth of it. You can't just be like, oh, this person's horrible, or this person. People use such harsh words on when they don't even know the person that well, and it's just like crazy to me. Like families argue, they argue, and but they also show that they care. You know what I mean? And the act of knowing that you can't choose your family, and it is the same act of you can't choose the people that you're on earth with right now. Every 100 years, those people are going to be replaced by a completely different set of people, which is insane for me to think about, right? Like, you will never be with that same person ever again, because this is the generation, this is the world that we have right now. And so the next generation will no longer have me, no longer have you. And it's just like, to think about that, like, wouldn't you want people to kind of treat each other like a huge, big family so we can kind of work together and have more of an understanding, even if we disagree with each other? Having that respect factor, having that, responsibility of like, hey, you can rely on me, we can rely on each other kind of thing, right? Like, I'm not saying that like you have to go out and give everyone your stuff, right? Like the same way that when you act with family, you can have boundaries, you can have respect to your mental health, you have, so much of that. A good family member knows when to, step in and knows when to not step in, like not making them so reliant on you. And, like if they're going through a really hard time, you're not meant to just drag them 70-30 all the time, right? Like it should be a period of time where you need to take care of them and you need to just help them out, right? And I'm sure like, not only you, but other people would be so much more grateful if they saw that glimmer of hope in life, especially those people that are really down on their luck and they feel like they have nothing going on and they feel like the world is kind of against them. That one act of service, that one act of kindness brings them closer to a more positive feeling that, hey, like, wow, I'm being treated like family that I didn't have. You know what I mean? Some people they don't choose their family, right? So sometimes it's unfortunate enough that the family members themselves don't even care about them and they don't get to experience a family-like dynamic of that unconditional love, of that care that so many people need, right? And to give that out to other people like as if it was your family, I feel like would help so many people right now. I feel like that's like a really big causation of some people's like thoughts and thinking that no one cares, is that they don't have like a concept, a family, a girlfriend, a mother, a father, whatever the case is. They lack the concept of a family member, of a relationship. And giving out that like, you know, brotherly, the motherly, fatherly, you know, kind of attitude towards other people in this world, I feel like would cause so much of a benefit. It shifts the perspective of like it's a competition. I need to, you know, put other people down and I need to be at the top to be like successful, to compassion, to care, to respect. That people like you'll see people as like you know, we go in this together. We're in this boat together, you know. We're not trying to segregate each other. We're not trying to, you know, like be better than these people. We're trying to move up together. We're trying to be together and move towards a more positive space. We can't just, you know, we're not just like caring for ourselves kind of thing, right? Like, you know, of course, like I said, boundaries matter, you know, your respect to your mental health, respect to your own place. But I'm talking about those moments where sometimes you see someone that is suffering or that has a negative mind space, maybe said something they wish they didn't, and your mind is just like, oh, this is an awful person, they're horrible, and you know, I'll never, you know, like try to, I feel like even if the person doesn't apologize to you or doesn't do anything, it's just a much more positive attitude to have, that oh, that person was just going through a bad day, or that person should have, you know, maybe they missed a payment and then now their credit score went down, or whatever the case may be, you know, like they had a bad, unfortunate thing that happened to them, right? And if you think of it like that, even if you never meet the person ever again, at least you'll know that, you know, that person will know that, hey, they actually thought of me as like a, you know, that I just had a bad day kind of thing, right? Everyone, I feel like to remember that sometimes you can get the wrong story is so important, because if you think about it, yourself, you've also had bad moments in your life. And there's always going to be people that think you are the villain in their story, right? Someone's going to think of you that, oh, this person's a horrible person, or this person was such an asshole, or whatever, you know? And like, but to other people, they think you're the most loving, compassionate person they've known. Some people, they think you're a homie, you're someone to rely on. Some people think you're a good son. You know, you're a good son, daughter, whatever the case may be. You know, you're reliant, you're smart. You go to school, you do all these things. You're good educationally, all those different things, right? And to get that, you have so many different perspectives in other people around the world, and to know that you know your true values, you know your true self, and knowing that other people would actually like try to look out for you and look out for those other sides of the story, and piece together that you're actually just a normal human being and you're just going through something or going through a stage or whatever the case may be, is so important. And I kind of wanted to just portray this point, this concept in this video, because I try to look at it like that. As someone that, like, you know, trained people at work, I feel like it was so important to kind of get the idea that, you know, people come from different backgrounds, different childhoods, different, you know, circumstances, and so treat everyone with respect and don't judge people so quickly on one meeting, two meetings, or one scenario or one setting. But yeah, that's pretty much it in today's video. I thought it was just an interesting concept, because I feel like, you know, so many people want this kind of love, this unconditional love, where they don't have to like prove themselves constantly. It's tiring. Like, you know, let's be honest. Like, you know, you have your one fall off and you're all of a sudden you're like not the same person. You know what I mean? So having that perspective that people can have bad days, good days, you know, is just so much more of a positive environment, at least I feel like. But yeah, that's pretty much it in today's video. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate every one of those interactions. It really helps out the channel. Much love as always, and I'll see you in the next one.